And so I had a 1-year-old on my hip and this 2-week-old I'm wearing, and that's just how life was for quite a while. So then after about 8-9 weeks, it dropped to about 8 to 12 hours of crying for like another month. I'm trying to remember. At week 16, I would say he officially had everything out of his system. Like, we weren't having any kind of withdrawal symptoms at all. So during withdrawal, he had major tremors, he cried a lot, and he sneezed a lot. And so it wasn't, so I got him like November 2nd, I picked him up from the hospital, and we took a in utero drug class in January. So then I was like, if I would have known this.
Wow.
So
So you had him basically 2 months before you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so at that point, we were down like to 8 to 12 hours, and I'm like, people are talking, oh yeah, the baby cried before hours. I'm like, you know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So when people talk about excessive crying, I'm like, how long that baby crying?
Mm-hmm.
You know nothing. But excessive crying was one of the hardest things I've ever dealt with in my life. Like, I felt like I was going crazy. Like, it was nonstop. My husband actually like grew accustomed to it. He would not even wake up at night. He wouldn't even hear it. And my husband works full time, and so I would let him sleep. And sometimes I would like lay the baby next to his ear just so I'm like, you can't hear this? And we used to think he was such a loud crier. We're like, he's so loud. And then all my friends are like, that is the softest cry I've ever heard. I'm like, no way. Now I know it's a soft cry.
Right.
But it was hard. I actually told them I would never do another baby, and they're like, what? That's what you wanted to do? I'm like, yeah, that won't happen again. Like, it actually took them 9 months to talk me into doing another baby, because I was just like, that was rough.
That's a long time for a lot of crying.
Yes. So he actually was cognitively delayed. So his caseworker, so my girls have one caseworker, and my baby boy had another caseworker, and she was right on it. She was right on it with services to be provided for me. So we had Help Me Grow come in, and it actually was a fairly quick, I thought it was fairly quick, I guess. They came in, we got stuff tested, it just was they're on it. They had an occupational therapist come out. And then she and I'm like, okay, what do I need to work on now? Like, he was about a month delayed. He was born at 37 weeks 1 day, and he was cognitively delayed about a month. But then as time went on, because she stayed with us the entire time he was with us, we realized that he kind of was just lazy and just did things whenever he decided. And she was like, I feel like he can do it. Like, if you catch him off guard, he'll like catch himself. Like, he did not walk until he was 14 months old. Not because he couldn't. I'm pretty sure he could. He just didn't want to. And he was just like, and he wouldn't crawl. He would roll. And so I'd spend all these hours like putting him up in crawl position, moving an arm, moving a leg, moving an arm. I'm like, and he would just flop down and roll. I'm like, oh boy.
Uh-huh.
And he just has, and still to this day, he has a mind of his own, and he does it when he wants it. And he's not doing it when you want it. And that's just kind of how it is. But it was amazing, and we got the services quick, and they were right on it, and they came to us. And so that was really nice, because I have a toddler and then a newborn, and I was just like, how to do what? They're like, no, we come to you. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So they just came in, tested, see what he needed, and then realized he was cognitively, and then brought the occupational therapist in. So that was wonderful. And we actually worked. He went home to live with his birth family on October 19th. His birthday is October 27th, so he went home right before his birthday, and they stayed with me all the way up until then.
Wow.
And so he just to kind of help mom transition with him home, but he still wasn't walking when he left me. And I'm like, I did everything possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he's a smart little guy. You show him something one time, you don't have to show him again. Like, if he wants to do it,
Right.
he's got it.
Can you talk about the birth family and what that was
Yes.
like?
So with my first birth family, my girls' family, it's been a struggle. And with this birth family, I always go in with an email. You can have my email. I have no problem sharing things with you. But my thing is, if you don't respond back, I don't respond back. That's just kind of how I go. I don't give a telephone number. So my baby got RSV in December, at the end of December, like December 27th, and I called the caseworker, and the caseworker was like, I'm gonna have mom meet you at the hospital because she's safe and she's got it together and she's been doing everything she needs for her care plan. And I sobbed the entire time, like on my way to the hospital. I was like, okay, get it together, like. And it's not that I didn't feel safe. I just was like, this is my baby, and you did this to my baby. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you've caused this. And so we went in, and she was like, is it okay? Would you mind if I hold him? I was like, no, you can hold him. Like, I was just kind of like, you gave birth to him. Like, I guess I just expected her to be kind of rude about it. I don't know. So we went into the back into the ER together, and she just kind of took a little bit of a back seat. And so of course they say, does he have any history? And so we have to tell them, he's prenatally exposed. And so on my way there, I called the caseworker, and I'm like, they're gonna ask, how do I say this in a nice manner in front of her? And she said, just say he was prenatally exposed to opiates, so, and to some other things. And so I said that. And so when they left the room, she said, thank you so much for saying it in such a nice way. She said, I was so nervous. And so I think that kind of like softened like the situation a little bit. And then at that moment, well, in that time, I gave her my cell phone number. I was like, you can text me, whatever, like, do you text? And I said, I don't mind sharing pictures with you. And so from that point, we just developed a really good friendship. And so actually still to this day, we text each other all week long, and we know that we both want what's best for our little guy. And so she never has been positive. He's still in the system. They are watching her for 6 months, and she, from day one, has never been positive for drugs again, has worked really, really hard. And excuse me, she, when she got a chance to get an apartment, I worked really, really hard to help her get all of her supplies for her house. And I told her, I'm like, sometimes bad things happen. Like, it's just how life is. And just because something bad happened doesn't mean you're a bad person. I'm like, everybody needs help sometimes. And so, and I told her, I said, I can be an overbearing person, and I want you to let me know if I am. I said, but I just want to help you, because sometimes you need help. It's just how it is. So we've become extremely good friends, and he has gone home to be with his mom. He still comes to visit us every Friday night. She works Friday nights and then Saturday mornings until the evening. And so he comes and stays with us, and it helps her and it helps us. It's helped with transition, because it was really difficult to have our baby for a year and then all of a sudden he's gone. That was emotionally difficult, especially on my husband. He had a really hard time with it. He still sometimes has a hard time, and he's been gone since October. So, but everybody loves Friday nights. Our 2.5-year-old's always like, Boo Boo, come home, Mom, because we call him Boo Boo. And I'm like, yeah, she hears the dogs bark, Boo Boo here, Mom. No, Boo Boo's not